सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, we have completed up to 25th sloka. We'll have a quick recap of 25th sloka and go forward. Labhante brahma nirvanam rishayakshina kalmashaha chinnadvaidayatatmanah sarvabhuta hiterataha. Kshina kalmashaha chinnadvaidaha yatatmanah sarvabhuta hiterataha rishayah brahma nirvanam labhante. In this particular sloka, Paramatma is giving the total gamut of moksha sadhanam, how to get moksha, various steps. Like, you want to go to a particular place. There are various stations in between. Like that, what are all the various stages, various stations to achieve moksha? So, after passing through all these stages, one can attain moksha. So, the first one is Kshina Kalmashaha. Kshina Kalmashaha means Kalmasha is papam or impurities. To be more precise, it is impurities. What are the impurities in the mind? We have got ragam, dvesham, or kama, krodha, lobha, mada, matsaryam. These are all the impurities we have in our mind. So, in the very first stage, we have to cleanse these impurities. This is called chitta suddhi. We have to make our mind pure so that we are, qualified for jnana. Jnana yogyata, that is called. So to get yogyata, jnana yogyata, we have to cleanse the anthakarnas or cleanse the mind. How do you clean the mind? That is already mentioned in the previous chapters. The chitta suddhi can be achieved by karma yogam, by doing various karmas, kayikam, manasikam, vachakam, and doing pancha mahayajnas. Like that, various practices are there to make one's own mind pure. So, you can cleanse your mind by doing pancha mahayajnas or by practicing karma yoga or chanting some mantra. Like that, various methods are suggested to acquire chitta suddhi. And chitta ekagrata is also included in this. For chitta ekagrata, one must take up meditation. Again, in meditation, various types are there. In our parampara, there are 5 different kinds of meditations. We have to practice these meditations in order to achieve chitta ekagrata. That is dealt in depth in chapter 6, Atma Sanyamana Yogam. In that chapter, we have the meditation explained in detail. So, chitta ekagrata, chitta suddhi together, here Paramatma is mentioning as kshina kalmashaha. The impurities are removed. The mind became pure. This is the very first stage. By this, what happens? One becomes qualified. One becomes qualified and he is ready for jnanam. Then he has to approach a Shrotriya Brahmanishta and acquire the knowledge. Once he acquires the knowledge, that is called yatatmanaha. Yatatmanaha means he becomes an informed person. He knows his real self. He understands his real self by Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. Yatatmana means a Praitnasili, one who puts an effort in the direction of Jnana. What type of effort? One should acquire a guru and perform Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam for consistently long period. Then he understands the real self and he can stay in that knowledge, he can own up that knowledge and stay in that nishtha. So, yatatmanaha. When he is in the process of learning, what happens? He gets a umpteen number of doubts because the world is diagonally opposite to what is taught in Vedanta. Vedanta says you are not the body, you are not the mind, this world is midhya, like that Vedanta pronounces. But his experience, his day-to-day experience tells him he is the body, he is the mind, he is the intellect, and this world is real. So he is crushed between day-to-day experience and the Vedantic teaching. So he should resolve this. He should understand where is the, this confusion. Once this confusion is cleared, once he gets the doubtless knowledge, Nisamsaya Jnanam, that is called doubtless knowledge. That is the stage, and that stage is called Chinnadvaidaha. Chinnadvaidaha means having resolved all the doubts and settled with the Nischayatmaka Buddhi, Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, with a deterministic knowledge. Aham Atma Asmi, Aham Brahma Asmi. This kind of knowledge is very much firm in his mind and he owns up that knowledge. That is possible only when he clears all his doubts and then he has to get rid of his Viparita Bhavanas. Viparita Bhavanas means habitual formations. Over Janmas and Janmas, he is under the impression that he is the body, mind, sense complex. So that habit must go. This can happen only by practice. He has to continuously invoke the thought. He has to continuously live in that reality until it becomes natural. Aham Atma Asmi must become a natural flow of his thoughts. So for that he has to do abhyasam. This is called nishtha. 24/7 at the back of the mind he has to be in that spurana. He has to be in that memory that he is Atma. He will be performing all transactions. He is very much involved in the day-to-day transactions and performing the actions. Yet, in the back of the mind, he must understand that he is Atma. So this will make him clear that in the reality, he is not the body, mind, sense complex. He is Atma. So, Rishati Janati iti Rishayaha. Rishayaha is one stage mentioned in this sloka. Rishati Janati. Rishati means Advaita Jnanam. Janati means what he knows? He knows Advaita Jnanam. He knows that he is Atma. His real self is Atma. He is Brahma in reality. So that knowledge he acquires and he owns up that knowledge. That is the reality. That is not a new thing. Unfortunately, he is ignorant of that. So now he realized his real knowledge, his real self. So Rishayaha is that stage. After Rishayaha, Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. When he is totally reveling in the knowledge of Brahman, reveling in his real self, then he will not have any kind of enmity, any kind of dvesham on any living being. Earlier, he was hurting people because he doesn't know the pain of the hurt he causes. He simply uses all harsh language and hurts people. Now, having understood the knowledge, he knows the gravity. He knows the feelings of others. He will get the pain what others will get if he hurts them. So he will be always compassionate with all living beings. He will not have any kind of, he will not undertake any himsa. Ahimsa is the main motto for him. He is an embodiment of ahimsa. So in that stage, he is called Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. Sarvabhuta Hiterataha means he always thinks of the welfare of all living beings. He thinks of the welfare of all living beings. That is the stage. That means we have got various stages like first Kshina Kalmashaha, cleansing the Antakaranas, and then Etatmanaha, you have the sadhaka has to make an effort and go to a Srotriya Brahmanishta and acquire knowledge. And then Chinnadvaidaha, he has to clarify all the doubts and acquire Nissamsaya Jnanam, doubtless knowledge. Rishayaha. Rishayaha means having acquired Rishati Janati, having acquired the knowledge. He becomes a Rishi. He becomes a Jnani. Then Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. Sarvabhuta Hiterataha means he will become totally compassionate. This is called empathy, knowing the pain of others. He becomes totally compassionate, empathetic towards the living beings. So, in that Nishtha, he enjoys the Atmanandam. Labhante Brahma Nirvanam. Labhante Brahma Nirvanam means he gets, he unites with Brahma. He unites with Brahma means what? That doesn't mean that he will join Brahma and become one. That is not the message here. He understands that there is no difference between himself and Brahma. That is what it means by Labhante Brahma Nirvanam. So Brahma Nirvanam, when will he get? While he is living and after death. While he is living, it is called Jivan Mukti, and after death, it is called Videha Mukti. We'll take up the sloka number 16. Kama Krodha Viyuktanam Yatinam Yata Chetasam Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmanam. Kama Krodha Viyuktanam yatachetasam viditatmanam yatinam abhitaha brahma nirvanam vartate. Oneness with Brahman takes place both here and hereafter for the self-restrained ones who are free from desire and anger, whose minds are restrained and who have known the Atma. Now we'll see word by word what is the meaning of this sloka. Kama Krodha Viyuktanam. Kama Krodha Viyuktanam means Kamam and Krodham. These are the two enemies. Kama Yesha Krodha Yesha Rajoguna Samudbhavaha Mahasino Mahapapma Vidyena Mihavairinam. So may you understand these two are the deadly enemies for you. Paramatma said you have to address Kamam and Krodham. So Kama Krodha Viyuktanam, having control, having mastery over Kamam and Krodham. This is called Kama Krodha Viyuktanam. What is Kamam? What is Krodham? To desire a particular vastu or particular object is called Kamam. I want this, I want this, I want this. If I don't have this, my life is a vacuum. So like that, you long for a particular thing. That is called Kamam. Supposing you don't get it, then you get Krodham. And even if you get it and you lose it, then you get Krodham. So the Krodha is a consequence of Kamam. This we have already seen in the 3rd chapter. What is the consequence of Kamam and Krodham? So these are the two enemies, as we already have learnt. This, the sadhaka, these two doshas he mastered. He has absolute control over Kamam and Krodham. This is called Kama Krodha Viyuktanam. Yatachetasam. Yatachetasam means he has an absolute control on the mind. He mastered the mind. Mind is the mischief maker. Because of the mind only you can, you get Kamam, Krodham, Lobham, Madam, Matsaryam, all these things. So when you have mastered the mind, then you don't have Yata Chetasam. Chetas means mind. One who masters the mind. Then he masters the mind means he has not totally controlled, but he has given a proper direction to the mind. He channelized the mind. He has taken the mind towards the spirituality. From the mundane things, he shifted to spirituality. That is called Yata Chetasam. So such person is called Yatinam. He is called Yati, a Jnani, a Viveki, who can understand what is Atma, what is Anatma. Yatinam Yatachetasam. Viditatmanam. Viditatmanam means he acquired Vivekam and Vairagyam. Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. Tivra Mumukshutvam. So such person is called Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna. So he knows what is Atma, what is Anatma, and he is dispassionate towards the mundane things. And his topmost priority is Jnanam. And he acquired that self-knowledge. So such person is called Viditatmanam, a sadhana chatushtaya sampanna. Brahma Nirvanam Vartate. Brahma Nirvanam Vartate means he becomes one with Brahma. He is in union with Brahma. He is in union with Brahma means what? He understands that there is no difference between Brahma and himself. There is no distance between Brahma and himself. Earlier he thought that God is different from himself. There is a distance between himself and the God. God is somewhere in the heavens, whereas he is on earth. So that much of distance is there. Now he understands that there is absolutely no difference, no distance between God and himself. That is called Brahma Nirvanam Vartate. So in the previous sloka, Brahma Nirvanam Labhante is used. The same thing is mentioned here, Brahma Nirvanam Vartate. So he acquires that mental state, that mindset. He is no way different from God. So that misconception that he is different from Brahma is no more there. So Abhitaha is one word used here. Abhitaha means by two ways. This Brahma Nirvanam happens in two ways. That is Maranat Purvam Api, Marananantaram Api. Maranat Purvam Api means while he is living, while he is alive and kicking, he knows that he is Atma, is Brahma. So that Jivan Mukti, that joy of Jnanam, he enjoys while living. And after death, Marananantaram Api means after death, he is not subject to further janmas. He doesn't have next janma. He is relieved from that samsara chakram. So that is what Brahma Nirvanam Vartate. Then sloka number 27. Sparsan krutva bahirbhahyan chakshuschaivaantare bhruvoh pradapanau samau krutva nasabhyantaracharinav. Bahyan sparsan bahihi krutva chakshuhu cha bhruvoh antare eva krutva nasabhyantaracharinav. Pranapano samau krutva. Having kept outside the external sense objects and having fixed the sight between eyebrows, one should regulate the inhalation and exhalation, moving inside the nostrils. Now, next chapter, that is chapter number 6, is dedicated to meditation. The practice of having one-pointed concentration. So, in that the various steps are mentioned. This is a kind of an introduction to that chapter. So, Paramatma is giving some tips briefly from sloka number 27 up to sloka number 29. So he wants to say that Bahyan sparsan bahihi krutva. Bahyan sparsan bahihi krutva means sparsan is Vishaya Vastus, the sense objects. We have sense objects. For eyes, all scenes, all colors and forms are Vishaya Vastus, are sense objects. For ears, sounds are sense objects. For skin, touches are the sense objects. For tongue, taste, various tastes like sweet, hot, sour. All these are, sense objects. So keeping these sense objects, where are these sense objects? Outside the mind. Keep them outside only. Don't bring it into the mind. Bahyan sparsan, these Vishaya Vastus are outside the mind. So don't allow them to enter your mind. Keeping the objects which are outside, the sense objects which are outside, keep them outside only. That means don't allow them to get into your mind. That means what? You are not thinking of external objects. Your mind is totally cut off from the external objects. Bahyan sparsan bahihi krutva. Then what will the mind do? Will the mind become static and thoughtless and all that? No. You are giving a diversion. You are shifting the mind towards the God. You are allowing the mind to think, but not outside things, not outside sense objects. Instead, you entertain the mind with godly or divine thoughts, meditational thoughts. So, Bahyan sparsan bahihi krutva. Bahyan sparsan bahihi krutva means stopping all thoughts which are relating to the external world and entertaining the divine thoughts, entertaining the meditational thoughts. This is what it means. Chakshuhu bhruvoho antareyeva krutva. So, you concentrate on the center of the eyebrows. Bhruvo means in between the eyebrows, where you have this Ajna Chakra. You concentrate there. You concentrate there means what? You have to not completely close your eyes. You can open your eyes, but not totally open, half open, and try to concentrate in between the eyebrows. If you totally close, what happens? You will fall into sleep. Instead, you keep your eyes half open and concentrate in the center of the eyebrows. Bhruvoho madhye, bhruvoho antareyeva krutva. So, in between the eyebrows, may you concentrate. So, this is a kind of practice so that, the mind will not go astray. Otherwise, mind will take up all kinds of things and will not allow you to do your meditation. So, this is a kind of practice. Nasabhyantara charino pranapano samau krutva. Nasabhyantara charino means the air flowing in the nostrils. You have the air which is getting into the nostrils and getting out of the nostrils. Prana apana. So, you have to make them equal. They are called Idan Pingala. When you get up, what happens is one nostril will be blocked. One will be freely, allowing the air to flow and breathe. So, both the nostrils must have equal capacity. For this, you have to do pranayama. There are various methods of pranayama. First, you have to do the nadi suddhi, and then various types of pranayama are there. So, you have to take up that. If you do not know, you have to undergo training by a guru. In our satsang, Ram Mohan Rao Garu and Raghav Raj Garu, they are two people who are experts in this pranayama and asanas. You can contact them and get this knowledge. So we have the Nasabhyantara Charino. Nasabhyantara Charino means by equalizing the prana, the flow of air. Both the nostrils, you should have the airflow equal. Pranapano samau krutva. Samau krutva means by making the flow equal. So this is the preliminary steps which Paramatma gave. He will be detailing them in the next chapter, that is the 6th chapter. Here, however, he just hinted. So he said that 3 things. One is about the external things. That is, keep the external things outside only. Don't allow them to enter your mind. On the other hand, entertain your mind with divine and meditational thoughts. Then concentrate on the center of eyebrows. Then equalize the breath, prana and apana, by the practice of pranayama. These 3 things are mentioned here. 28th sloka. Yatendriya mano buddhihi munirmoksha parayanaha vigatecha bhaya krodho yasada mukta eva saha. So, having restrained the sense organs, mind and intellect, 3 things. Having restrained the sense organs, mind and intellect, freed from desire, fear and anger, with liberation as supreme goal, one meditates, becomes liberated forever. This is what Paramatma is saying. Yaha munihi. Yaha munihi means mananat munihi. Yatendriyaha manobuddhihi mokshaparayanaha vigatecha bhayakrodha saha sada muktaha eva. Yaha munihi. Yaha munihi means so this kind of a practitioner who is having total knowledge of self and then practices this meditation. Yatendriyaha manobuddhihi. 3 things he is having mastery. What are the 3 things? Indriyaha, manaha, buddhi. So, having restrained what? Sense organs, mind and intellect. These 3 things, when you allow them, they bring all mundane things into the mind and will not allow you to concentrate. Mind will just loiter all over the world in no time. So, before the mind, the sense organs, you have to shut the sense organs. That is what Paramatma told in the earlier sloka. Bhahyan sparsan bahihi krutva. So, keeping the outside things outside only. That's what he said. You should restrain the mind, you should restrain the sense organs, you should also restrain the intellect. These 3 things must be mastered. Then after mastering this, you are free from desire, fear and anger. You get an advantage that the ragam or the ichcha or kamam will not be there once you have the knowledge and practice this kind of austerities. Having restrained the sense organs, mind and intellect, and freed from desire, fear and anger. Once you are free from desire, fear and anger, how you are free from desire and anger? By the knowledge. Once you understand that you are Purnam, you are whole and complete, then you don't require outside things for your happiness. You are the very Swarupa of Ananda. So you don't think that you are inadequate. There is no insufficiency in you. You don't require anything to fill you. You are Purnam. So that makes you free from desire and fear also. Fear happens only when there is a second thing. Dvitiyadvai bhayam bhavati. When there is a second thing, I will have fear. Fear that other thing will harm me. I don't have any other thing. Everything is me. As Atma, I am all pervading. So other than Atma, there is no object here. So as Atma, I am everywhere. I am the only one here in this entire universe. So there is no second thing. If there is a second thing, I will have fear. So fear is also not there. Kamam is also not there. Then when there is no fear, when there is no kamam, the anger will not come. Anger is a subsequent derivative of desire. Anger sprouts from the desire. If the desire is not fulfilled, I get anger. Even if it is fulfilled, if I lose the object of my desire, then I get anger. So the very desire is not there. When the very desire is not there, I don't get anger also. Anger is also restrained. So that way, freed from desire, fear and anger, and with liberation as supreme goal, then with that clear understanding, I understand that I am Atma. Aham Atma Asmi. Aham Brahma Asmi. If one meditates, if one contemplates on this knowledge and this Nishtha, if one is in this Nishtha, Aham Atma Asmi, then he is liberated forever. So, Vigatecha Bhayakrodo, by making one free from all kinds of emotions, he is totally having that inner freedom. Munir moksha parayanaha bhavet. Munir moksha parayanaha bhavet means Munihi is one who is meditating. The meditator is Muni here. He will meditate on Atma. The Atma Swarupa. The meditation here is contemplation. Contemplation on the Atma. Aham Atma Asmi. So, such meditator, Sada Saha Muktaha Eva Bhavati. So, he will become liberated forever. Liberated forever means he is always in that Anandam, because he is united with Atma. The local disturbances will not cause any kind of effect on him, because he is totally garbed. He is totally protected with a shock absorber called Jnanam, Atma Jnanam. Atma Jnanam is protecting 24/7. In spite of the problems, in spite of the troubles and tribulations in the mundane world, he is free and he is ever happy. So, the 29th sloka, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheswaram suhrudam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shantim ruchyati. Yajna tapasam bhoktaram sarvaloka maheshwaram sarvabhutanam suhrudam mam jnatva santim richyati. So he understands yajna tapasam bhoktaram ahamasmi. You understand that all yajnas, all austerities are received by me as Paramatma. So here, when he comes to the Vyavahara, though Atma is one, the Paramardhika Satyam, Atma and Ishvara both are same. In the Vyavahara, he understands all these yajnas, all these tapas, the bhoktaram means the enjoyer, the receiver, the bhokta is Paramatma. Bhokta is Paramatma means in the real sense as Atma myself. In the real self, there is only Paramatma is there. So all these prayers, all these practices, religious practices, the Bhokta is Paramatma. And that Paramatma is Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. So that Paramatma is, he is the Lord of all lokas. Is the controller of all lokas, is the Adhipati, is the Prabhu of all lokas. So where is he? So such an Adhipati, where is he? Is he above in the heavens? Sukhrudam sarvabhutanam, such a great Paramatma who is Bhokta and Maheshwara, Sarvaloka Maheshwara, he is Sukhrudam Sarvabhutanam. He is not away from me, he is very much present in all living beings, in their very heart, in their very mind. He is living, is very much there in that mind. In the mind he is there, and he is giving that chaitanyam by reflecting all the indriyas, and indriyas reflect all the body. So we can recognize Paramatma very much in every living being. Suhrudam sarvabhutanam. So he is not away. He is not, very far off. So he is very much present right in front of me, right in me and right in front of me, in every human being. Suhrudam sarvabhutanam. So in all living beings, he is very much there. Jnatva. So evam jnatva. Knowing this way, Santim richyati. So he attains the absolute peace, security and happiness. So now he need not run away from the world. He need not look for the peace, happiness and security outside. He knows that peace, happiness and security is within himself, within every human being, within every living being. And that very Atma, the indweller of all living beings, is the Paramatma. Suhrudam sarvabhutana. So he will have the compassionate feeling towards every living being. So that way, Santim Ruchyati, he attains absolute peace. So Paramatma concluded with this sloka. So in this particular sloka number 26 to 29th, Paramatma started with the idea that the person who will understand that Atma is the very essence of every human being, Atma is all pervading, Atma is the only one, only reality in this world, will have the moksham. When will he have the moksham? Here and now, here and hereafter. That also is mentioned. So, in this particular chapter, Paramatma concludes the jnana portion. While concluding, he adds an additional topic called the meditation. He gave few tips for meditation, which he is going to elaborate in the next chapter. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Sambade Karma Sannyasa Yogo Nama Panchamodhyayaha. Om Tat Sat. Harihi Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudatyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.